You've probably heard by now that Tyranny is an RPG about being evil, but we reckon it's really about the aftermath of a drunken blackout. Think about it. You wake up at the beginning of the game with a bunch of pre-existing relationships you don't remember. It's impossible to get anyone's name straight, and it turns out you've upset someone, for reasons you're just now hearing about. None of this would be so bad if every one of your mates wasn't a general in the army of Kairos the Overlord. But they are, and as Fatebinder, it's your job to step in and make tough decisions that some of them won't like. Here's a quick guide then to who not to offend in Tyranny. If you really have to pee in someone's helmet, make sure it's not one of these guys. Oh, and while we're in the business of not offending anyone, best to subscribe if you enjoy our videos. We take rejection badly. So Kairos has travelled all over the world of Tyranny, conquering as he goes, and along the way he's picked up a few new armies. One of these is the Disfavoured, a legion of elite soldiers led by a big beardy man named Graven Ash. Graven Ash. So that's grave as in death, and ash as in death. Presumably Dead Muck corpse was already taken. Beyond the name and the hulking physical presence, Ash seems like a pretty okay guy. Unlike the other generals, he cares deeply for the soldiers under his command, mourning a defeated patrol as if it were a personal loss. It sounds sort of sweet. Until you find that the body of his own son is buried in a barely marked grave just outside the Disfavoured camp, and nobody will tell you anything about it. I suppose you could call that a grave warning? Seriously, don't cross him.
For the second time, Brother Tunon selects you for the glory of proclamation.
Imagine you're at a party and a friend calls you over. There's somebody I want you to meet, they say. This is the Voices of Narat. I mean, the plural name alone is a red flag. And that's before you get a glimpse of his face, which is really more of a mask suspended in a bright green flame. Just think Rayman after a dark and gritty reboot. Not only is Narat a deeply sarcastic conversationalist, he's also Kairos' Archon of Secrets, a spymaster and torturer who has lived for hundreds of years. Rumour has it that he literally eats the minds of his victims and has total recall of their memories. Plus, he has an entire army at his beck and call. That's the Scarlet Chorus, who are a ruthless bunch of villager killers in their own right. Basically, you want to be his friend, because otherwise, there will be consequences.
Ah, the fire starter has arrived! Welcome, welcome!
Some of Tyranny's most dangerous characters aren't dressed head to toe in alarm bells like Ash and Narat. In fact, one of them is a 15-year-old girl. She's maybe the scariest of the lot. Suren is known as the Archon of Song, thanks to her unnerving ability to lull anyone into doing her bidding, simply by rattling off a couple of verses. Most of Tyranny's dialogue is in text, so you never actually get to hear her sing for yourself outside of combat, but she must be a Swiftie in the making, since strangers have fought and died for her. She once claimed some of the Disfavoured as her personal guard, which is the sort of thing that really upsets Graven Ash. And for reasons we've already covered, you'd have to be an absolute baller to upset him. QED, Suren is a gangster who can make you tie your own shoelaces together. Don't mess with her.
Do you remember me, Fatebinder? Now don't disappoint me.
Sometimes you only have to read the resume to know something's up. Verse is a companion character who started her career cutting up animals on the family farm. Since then, she's risen through the ranks of the Scarlet Chorus by killing her superiors. I'd better say that again, but a bit louder. Companion character, history of killing bosses. If that's not cause for dismissal, I don't know what is. And by dismissal, I mean setting character death to permanent in the options menu and then forgetting to equip her armour. Accidents happen.
Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun along the way.
Now, I'm afraid we don't have any images of Kairos in the wild. The Overlord is more into leading from the back and appears only as a vague malevolent force in the game, like the Flu or Robin Thicke. But she, he or it is far from idle. This one time, Kairos got sick of a siege dragging on too long, so they conjured a spell that set fire to an entire city. The place was basically a fortified library, and you know what's in libraries? Books. lovely flammable books. Kairos wasn't even there. Did the whole thing from the couch halfway across the realm? That's who we're dealing with here. Basically Sauron, crossed with Zeus. In fact, scratch all previous advice. If it comes to it, offend anybody else on this list rather than Kairos. Defecate in their cornflakes if you have to. Run over their pets. Just don't annoy the boss. Right, that's your lot. If you're an aspiring lieutenant in the army of an unmerciful tyrant, feel free to impart your own advice in the comments.